Hi everyone, welcome to Barefoot Mama Yoga. This is the second chakra flow from Anodea Judith's book, Chakra Yoga. If you also want to check out her other book, it's called Wheels of Life. I've had this one for a while, and it's got all of the associations with all of the different chakras there. So if you're into chakra yoga and this is something you're working on, I highly recommend either of these books. So the second chakra is called Svadisthana. The seed sound is Vam, and it's associated with the color orange, with the sense of taste. It is associated with water, flow, working with polarities, sexuality, pleasure. And she mentions, Anodea Judith mentions in this chakra yoga book that Svadisthana means one's own place. So if you have been looking for a sense of belonging in yourself or coming into alignment, especially when I'm posting this, it's right after a full moon lunar eclipse in Libra. So there's some shedding going on, letting go. For this practice, you may need a blanket, a block, maybe a strap. We're just gonna get started on our backs. So find your way to your back. And as you inhale, ground yourself here on the mat. Exhale, releasing your sigh, your breath. Inhale. As you inhale, keeping your feet on the mat so your knees are bent up towards the ceiling, bring your lower lumbar or your lower back up off the mat. And then as you exhale, roll your pelvis down, bringing your back flush with the mat. So inhale, round through the lower back, lifting your tummy, keeping your hip bones and your shoulders down. Exhale, bring your navel to your spine, and your back becomes flush with the mat. So we're finding, these are called pelvic tilts. We're finding movement here in the lower lumbar. Maybe picture the color orange glowing here in your second chakra, right underneath your belly button. And as you exhale, maybe also squeeze Mula Bandha, like closing up your perineum. Inhale, hold, squeezing Mula Bandha. Exhale, release. Remembering back to your first chakra flow that we did a couple weeks ago. Building our second chakra energy from the ground up, from those roots. And when you're ready, find your center. Bring your feet as wide as the mat. Open your arms out to a T on your inhale. Exhale, drop your knees down to the left. Inhale, come up. Exhale, knees come down to the right. And then find here a steady motion that works for you. Windshield wiper your knees back and forth. Finding a little bit more motion in that second chakra. As your hip comes up, making sure to engage your core. Bringing your back all the way flush with the mat before moving your knees to the other side. And when you're ready, go ahead and come to center On your exhale, bring your back flush with the mat, and you can lift your knees here. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Finding a little bit of love here for yourself, for your body. Bring your head to the mat. You can keep your hands on your knees. And as you inhale, we're going to draw our knees up and out. And then exhale, bring them down. Inhale. Exhale, finding your knee circles here. Moving with your breath. And then reverse your circles when you're ready. You may find that exhaling as your knees come up, inhaling as they come down is a little bit easier for you. Work with your body, work with your breath. Find what works for you, what your body needs today. Find your place. Enter your flow. And then from here, find your center once more. Inhale, lift your head to your knees. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. And then we'll bring our feet, the bottoms of our feet together into a diamond shape here. Keep your shoulders away from your ears, underneath your rib cage so your chest is open. And then press your knees actively down away from your shoulders, opening through the groin here, keeping your back down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Keeping your face relaxed. Exhale. Squeezing through the perineum here. Inhale. Hold. Hold. And exhale. We'll drop our butterfly down to the mat. So keeping your feet together, keeping your knees wide. We'll find our Supta Baddha Konasana. You can bring your arms out. Inhale, maybe even do your pelvic tilt here. Exhale. Again, meeting your body where it's at today. The second chakra holds our emotions, and many of our subtle energy bodies do, but the second is specifically associated with emotion. So you might experience emotional release with these second chakra exercises, and that's okay. Making room for the new and releasing what is stuck. From here, we'll inhale, bring your knees up together. Exhale, knees come to your chest, keeping your shoulders under your rib cage, keeping your back flat. You can reach your peace fingers towards your big toes, or you can reach for the outsides of your feet here. Again, we're keeping our shoulders grounded and our lower back grounded as we find our happy baby. So in happy baby, your heels come towards the ceiling, your toes flex back towards your shins, and your knees come in towards your armpit chest. You can find stillness here or rock back and forth, massaging your lower back. Maybe if you're in the center here, you can inhale and exhale, bringing your heels a little closer to the ceiling, straightening a little bit more through the backs of your legs. Relaxing your face. One more breath. And then as you exhale, bring your knees in towards your chest once more and drop them to the mat, keeping that spine flush with the mat, engaging your core. We're going to find our figure 4 pose here, or our thread the needle. So as you inhale, bring your left foot up towards the ceiling, toes are pointed back towards your shin, and then keep your toes engaged as you bring your ankle to the top of your right thigh, close to the knee here. Actively work to open your 4 shape here by pushing on the left knee if that's comfortable, remembering to keep your foot engaged, your toes engaged. Exhale, bring your back flush with the mat again, keeping your shoulders down. And as you inhale, reach through this space underneath your calf and next to your thigh. From here, you have a few options. So you can grab your knee, interlace your hands over your knee on the right side, feeling that glute stretch, that hip opening stretch. You can bring your hands behind your thigh, interlace them here, and then bring your right foot up towards the ceiling, keeping your left toes flexed. You can do ankle rolls with your right foot, or you can just keep your right leg in a 90-degree angle as well. All up to you. If your left arm is comfortably on top of your left knee, you can work towards applying pressure there to open your hips as well. Inhale. Exhale. Release your stuck energy in your hips. Inhale, bringing in light, orange light, picture citrus. Exhale, moving stuck energy out. Keeping those shoulders away from your ears, down on the mat. Inhale. Exhale, we'll release. Inhale, left leg comes up towards the ceiling. Exhale, drop your left leg. From here, we'll inhale and exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Both knees come to your chest. Inhale. Exhale, release. Plant your left foot. On your inhale, right foot comes up towards the ceiling. Engage your right foot, toes pointed towards your shin. And then your ankle comes to the top of your left thigh, opening the right hip, finding your figure 4. So you can stay here if this is enough for you, or you can thread the needle, bringing your left knee up towards your chest. Again, make sure your right toes stay flexed to protect your knee here. You can reach through and clasp your fingers around your right or your left knee, or you can clasp them behind your thigh and use your right elbow to open your hip a little bit more, applying pressure inside your left knee. Keeping your right toes flexed, you can roll your left ankle one way and then the other. Inhaling orange light. Exhaling, releasing any stagnant energy. Keeping your low back flush with the mat. And when you're ready, you can exhale, and we'll bring both of our knees down to the mat. Inhale, hug your left knee into your chest. And as you exhale, stretch your right leg out and down, bringing activation to your leg here. So flexing through the right toes. The back of the right leg is against the mat, maybe at your calf and glute. Just really finding your grounded space here. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, arms will open to a T. Maybe your right hand guides your left knee over to the right. So you're welcome here to use a block underneath your knee for support. We keep both of our shoulders grounded. Look out over your left fingertips maybe. Inhale, left knee comes to center. Exhale, right knee comes in. You can squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Give yourself a hug. Inhale. And then keeping your right knee where it's at. Exhale, send your left leg down, flexing through the toes. Shoulders come underneath the rib cage, keeping your chest open. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Open your arms to a T, and as you exhale, right leg comes over to the left, finding your supine twist. Maybe looking out over your right fingertips. Inhale, come up to center, bring your left leg with you, and then maybe find a couple more of your knee circles here before we go into our wide-legged twists. So you have a couple options here. You can do a wide-legged twist with me, or you can use your strap and just do one leg at a time. But she emphasizes, Anodea Judith emphasizes that this pose can create some fun movement. So invite a little fun into your practice as you exhale, open your right leg towards the ground, keeping your left leg up. Inhale, exhale, bring your left leg down. And we'll find sort of a work towards alignment here. Your left foot's probably going to be a little bit further back from your right, but keeping your toes flexed. Inhale, bring your left leg up, and then keeping your legs as wide apart as you can, coming up and around with your inhale. Exhale, we'll find the other side. Same thing here. So as you come up and over, whoop, inhale, exhale, keep your lower lumbar flush with the mat here. If this is at all painful for your knees, you can keep a micro bend in your knees, or in your groin, you can bring your legs a bit closer together. So a strap can also help to bring support here if you need. Exhale, drop your right leg, left leg follows. Inhale, engaging your lower back, bringing it flush with the mat. Exhale, massaging your hips. You can bring your arms out to the ground as well, palms down, to support your torso. I just like to have mine underneath my head sometimes. Feels good. All right. Inhale, we'll find our center here. And then you can bring your knees together, bring your hands behind your thighs, and exhale, knees come down. As you inhale, come back and exhale. Begin to roll your way back and forth. Maybe find a few of these rocking motions if this is comfy for you. It's not for some people, so that's okay. And then we'll make our way to our seat. We're going to do a butterfly pose here. So bring your feet together as close as is comfortable for you with your heels towards your perineum. I like to interlace my fingers and bring them underneath my feet here. But you may find that there's sort of a lot of pressure on your low back or a desire to curve. So a strap can help with this exercise as well. If you bring it behind your low back and then up and over your knees, and then use your little loops here to bring like tension. You can thread this loop and then pull, and it will ease the muscles in your lower back. Maybe also find a blanket if you find that you're wanting to curve. So interlace your fingers, bring them underneath your feet. Your knees are going to go wide and down towards the ground. And as you inhale, thread your chest through your shoulders, opening your shoulders wide, looking up towards the ceiling, avoiding crunching in your neck. Exhale. Maybe your knees come down a bit lower. Inhale, open. Exhale, releasing stuck energy in our second chakra. As you inhale, lengthen through the spine. And if it's comfortable for you to exhale and find a bit of a threshold here, you can take a tiny forward bend or maybe a large one. We're keeping our spine straight though. So again, avoiding rounding, avoiding reaching your head down this way. We want to keep that integrity through our core. Inhale. Exhale, maybe find a little bit more of a fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, we'll release. So from here, we're going to go into our Upavista Konasana, open leg forward fold. So this one you can, again, have a blanket underneath your hips if you'd like to. We inhale, we sit up nice and tall, nice and straight, engaging your lower belly. Maybe you roll your thighs out from underneath your femurs here, and then engage your thighs so that the backs of your legs are actively pressing down into the earth. Flexing your toes back towards your knees or your shins. You can bring your hands behind you. Inhale, lengthen. Open your chest towards the ceiling. Bring your feet as wide as is comfortable for you. Maybe keeping a little micro bend in your knees here, engaging all of your muscles in your legs. Inhale, lengthen, and then as you exhale, find a little bit of a forward fold or whatever's comfy for you. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, maybe walk your hands forward a bit more, or maybe your fingers can come out to your big toes here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, maybe fold a bit deeper. This is a big stretch, so we find big breaths here. Inhaling, opening in our chest. Exhaling, releasing tension, releasing tightness. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. On your next inhale, begin to walk yourself up. So we'll find an easy seat for a moment here. We're going to take fire leg pose, which is a strong hip opener. And so if you have any like knee injuries or hip injuries, you might go back to your figure 4 here instead, or find a like a cradle pose instead. So we want to keep our feet flexed and stack our shins directly over one another. So your sits bones are grounded. You inhale, lengthen through the spine, and then your ankle is going to be on top of your knee, other knee on top of ankle. Shins are directly stacked parallel. So inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, we press tented fingers into the ground, either here beside us, if this is enough for you, or maybe walking forward a bit, finding a deep hip opening stretch. Relaxing your face, relaxing the need to push beyond your threshold, exploring the limitations of your space here, your boundaries. Fire leg or fire log pose reminds me of that color orange. That fire that lights up in our third chakra comes from the passion here in our second. Picture that orange color glowing like a coal. Keeping both your feet flexed. Inhale. Exhale. Big release. Inhale, walk your hands back. And as you exhale, bring both of your feet in front of you for Dandasana or staff pose. Maybe shaking it out a little bit here. Inhale, arms come up. We're active in our legs, pressing down into the earth. Toes are facing back towards our shins. Lengthen through the spine, activating in your core. Exhale, dropping your hands down to your sides, bringing your fingertips facing towards your heels. Inhale. Exhale. Now from here, we'll bring our left leg up on the inhale. And you can cross it over here if you'd like, or just bring your ankle toes flexed to the top of your thigh. And then we'll just find the right leg coming back, working to stack from here. So coming from Dandasana, finding your fire leg, fire log pose. Stacking our legs like fire logs. Or again, if this is something that's inaccessible to you at the moment or somehow uncomfortable for your body, you can find another hip opening stretch, a figure four, or a cradling the baby. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, tenting your fingers against the earth. And as you exhale, keeping your core engaged, perhaps your fingers come forward a bit, maybe walking like little spiders. Opening those hip flexors. Inhale, begin to walk yourself up. Release your feet, shake them out. And then we'll make our way to our tabletop position. So from here, making sure your wrists are aligned under your elbows and your shoulders, making sure your knees are underneath your hips. Maybe find a little back and forth here with your hips. Feet are flat on the ground and engaged. And then inhale, we'll take our little cow pose, making a U shape in our back by bringing our chest forward, opening chin to the ceiling. Exhale, tucking your belly button here up towards your spine, rounding through the spine and the shoulders. A couple of cat cows. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. We'll tuck our toes, and on your inhale, bring either your knees up or you can keep your knees dropped. We're going to find our plank pose. And then on your next inhale, move forward just slightly. Exhale, keeping your elbows tucked towards your rib cage. Bring your chin down to the ground. Inhale, lift slightly. Shoulders are away from the ears as we bring our baby cobra up for a little breath of air. Exhale, release. Tuck your toes. Inhale, push yourself back up to your plank. Exhale, find your downward facing dog. Our head is hanging between the eyes of our elbows. Our heels are hiding behind our feet. And as we inhale, our hips come up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, our heels maybe come closer to the earth. Our rib cage closer to our thighs. Inhale. Exhale, fingers are wide and strong. Inhale, bending your knees so that they rest, your thighs rest underneath your rib cage. Look up towards the top of your mat. And then you can begin to take baby steps, or you can float or jump, whatever is comfortable for you, to your forward fold or Uttanasana. So in forward fold, this first one, we'll keep a generous bend in the knees. Keep your feet hip distance apart. And then let your head hang. Maybe give yourself a little hug. Maybe hold your elbows, keeping your core engaged. As you inhale, hips come up closer to the ceiling. And as you exhale, maybe you fall a little bit closer to the mat. Drop your arms. As you inhale, keep your tailbone tucked. Roll up one vertebra at a time. Arms come all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Exhale. Palms to heart center. And then we'll follow it through. Inhale. Palms come up overhead. Exhale. Rain it down. Leading with your chest. Engaging your core. Find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, your version. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands. Inhale, step it back. Find your plank, your version of a vinyasa to downward facing dog. Plant your left foot. Inhale, right foot comes up behind you. Toes are flexed downwards, and our hips are even here. So we're not stacking. We're keeping both hips facing the ground. Even weight in both hands and our left leg. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Plant your right foot between your hands. We'll drop our left knee either to a pad or a blanket or the mat. Make sure your right ankle is aligned under your right knee. And as you inhale, squeeze through the midline. Make sure your core is engaged. We'll find our Anjaneyasana, your version. So you can be here, maybe in a slight back bend, palms facing each other. Maybe your hands are at heart center in prayer. Just keeping your low, my goodness, I'm having a hard time talking today. Your center of gravity, like squeezed up into your core here, your midline squeezed up together, just strong in your low body. That's what I'm trying to say. Inhale. Exhale. Plant your palms, tuck your left toes, and then your left foot's gonna come back up to meet the right. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hope you can hear me. Sorry. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, tucking your tailbone one vertebra at a time, coming all the way up. Exhale, rain it down, leading with your chest. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, your version. Exhale, forward fold, and then we'll step it back. Find your version of vinyasa to downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your left foot up behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Drop your left foot between your hands, making sure that your ankle's aligned underneath your left knee. You can, if you need to, open your foot out to the left one effort to make room for your hips. So untuck your right toes, inhale, arms come up, your version again. So you can be here, or you can be here. Or you can, even if you want to, have your hands in this mudra, forefinger and thumb together, and then Pick your right heel up, open your right hand, or right shoulder rather, and reach for your right ankle. Lots of variations here. So find what works for you. Inhale. Exhale. Plant your palms on either side of your left foot. Tuck your right toes and then bring your right foot up to meet the left or hip distance apart. Find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, one vertebra at a time. We come up, 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 up. Exhale, palms to heart center. We're going to rain it down all the way through. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then on your inhale, we'll bring our feet back. Lift forward slightly from your plank. Exhale, vinyasa to downward facing dog. Exhale, find stillness here. Well, I see what is coming next. Okay, great. So from here, we'll lift our right foot up behind us, three-legged dog. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Plant your right foot. And then we'll bring our right hand to the inside of the right foot and heel toe your right foot to the outside of the mat. We're going to find our lizard lunge. So there's a lot of variations of lizard lunge. I'm going to move back, make sure you can see me. There's a lot of variations in lizard lunge. What you're looking for here is a hip flexor stretch on the inside and the outside. You can keep your toes untucked on the left side. You can stay here. You can have a block or two and come to your forearms, or maybe you can come all the way to your forearms. There's also a version where you can plant your left hand and reach up towards the ceiling. Take your twist. Even open your chest and bring your left foot up into your right hand. So really, it's up to you. If you want to keep your left toes tucked, you can. And if you're working on flexibility, just working your way down. Again, for our big stretches, right? Our big releases, we take big breaths. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Wherever you're ready or wherever you're at, inhale, plant your hands, tuck your left toes, and then we'll bring our right foot back. Bring your hands as wide as the mat, and then find your version of your vinyasa to downward facing dog. Ooh. Inhale. Maybe come to your tippy toes. Exhale. Maybe your heels come a little closer to the mat. Inhale, find your three-legged dog on the left side. Exhale. You can bring your left foot directly to the outside of your left hand or to the inside and then heel toe it out. We're going to find our lizard lunge on the other side. So again, you can be here with your toes lifted if you want, building strength. Maybe you have a block to help keep your spine straight. Give it integrity here. Or untuck your toes. And then bring your forearms down to the ground. Finding this release. Wherever you're at, go ahead and inhale, walk yourself up to your hands, tuck your right toes, and then bring your right foot back to the mat. You can take an optional vinyasa here, find your way to a down dog, or you can just bring your knees as wide as the mat, bring your toes together. Exhale, find your way to an extended child's pose. From here, on your inhale, come up, bringing your toes with you, keeping your knees where they're at. Exhale, we're going to find a little back bend here. Inhale, opening your chest up for hanging cobra. Exhale, find your child's pose. Inhale, hanging cobra. Exhale. Inhale. Again, keeping your wrists underneath your shoulders and then keeping your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale. And then inhale, take one more hanging cobra. There we go. From here, we'll drop our toes, tuck your toes, find a plank position. Last vinyasa to downward facing dog. Trying not to hit the microphone with this shirt on. Inhale. Exhale. So inhale, we'll bring our left foot up behind us again for three-legged dog. Exhale, you're going to drop your left knee behind your left hand. And then you're going to walk your right foot back until your heel is underneath your hip flexor on the right side. I tell a lot of my students in class, they'll want to like kind of fall onto the outer edge of their left hip. So if you find that you want to fall here and your flexibility isn't quite there yet with your left knee or your hips, you can take a block and put it underneath your hips here. It's kind of exercising the same center line as your Anjaneyasana. So making sure that you're like centered and that the flexibility is really coming into the front of your leg and the outer edge of your left hip. So you can be here in your half pigeon pose. You can be here, maybe all the way down. And then there are also like plenty of variations here too. So if you feel comfortable in your flexibility here, you can inhale, open your right shoulder and lift your heel up, catching your right foot in your right hand. Your shoulders are squared toward the front of the room and we're avoiding like locking our elbows. So elbow comes up towards the ceiling. If this is comfortable for you, you can work towards bringing your toes like into your elbow, working towards a mermaid pose. Woo. But I think for most people starting out, or just even working regularly on your hip flexor flexibility, by doing half pigeon is just amazing for your health, emotionally, physically, all of the above. We're making sure to keep our left toes flexed in this position, being gentle with our knee. Inhale, exhale, release. On your inhale, begin to walk yourself up onto your hands. Tuck your right toes. Place your hands on the mat. Bring your left foot back to meet the right. And from here, you can take a vinyasa, or you can just find your downward facing dog. Feel the difference. Ground through your left foot. Inhale, right foot comes up behind you. Three-legged dog. Exhale, we'll find half pigeon on the other side. Your version, again, right knee is behind your right wrist. Your heel is in your, or close to your left hip flexor. And then if you're not super flexible yet in your hip, you can bring a block, a blanket, anything you kind of need here underneath to support you. Our hips are level and working towards the mat. So if you want to take the bind, you can inhale, lift your left heel up behind you, open your left arm, left shoulder, and then find yourself kind of on the exhale, squaring your shoulders towards the front of the mat. Maybe you're working towards a little bit more flexibility and strength here. Maybe you're working towards a mermaid pose. I'm less flexible on this side than the other side. And usually in my classes, if I ask you to take a bind or if you would like to do that, I'll have you release as well and then come down to a full version of a half pigeon, a folded version. So inhale and then exhale, find your half pigeon, whatever that looks like for you. On your next inhale, begin to walk yourself up. And then we'll bring our left leg around. Find your legs come out in front of you. We're going to take a reclined bound angle pose. So you can bring a blanket underneath your lower back here if you'd like for support. Maybe you would like to stay in your bound angle pose as we move into our Shavasana afterwards. You can also from here sort of work towards a little boat pose first. So bringing your hands up, reaching. We inhale, lengthen through the spine. And then as you exhale, engage your core. And on your next inhale, bring your toes up off the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, maybe you kick your feet out. Lengthen through your legs, reach towards your toes. Shoulders are away from the ears. The low belly is engaged. We embrace the shaking. Inhale, exhale, come back to your boat pose. Drop your feet to the mat. And then we'll find our little diamond shape, our little butterfly shape as we begin to roll our way down one vertebra at a time. Whew. Exhale, making sure your low back is flush with the mat. Maybe again, doing some little pelvic tilts here. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, low back is flush with the mat. So if you want to have your blanket here, maybe fold it long ways. Put it underneath your low back for support. And find your reclined bound angle pose. With each inhale, lengthen it through the spine. And with each exhale, finding perhaps your knees come a little closer to the ground. And if you'd like to take Shavasana in a traditional corpse pose instead, please feel free to do so now. We'll stay here, imagining with each breath an orange light, like a orange fruit growing in our bellies, right underneath your belly button, cradled by the Muladhara or the root chakra, which is red. Maybe feel the flow of this orange light like water moving in and out, connecting you to the divine flow. You can stay here, or when you're ready, begin to shake your head left to right, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and then find your way to your most comfortable side. Press your hand into the floor and make your way to a comfy seat. Inhale, we'll bring our arms up together. Exhale, palms to heart center. Vam, 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 Vam. Vam. Om. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. The light in me sees and honors the light and the teacher in all of you. Namaste.